Essence Tarot, get up in here. We're going to take a look at the person who is on your mind, who you're not talking to. We are going to see what this person would say to you, what messages they have for you, okay, in this time of silence that you guys have between each other. This is a general reading. It's not personal. If you need a personal, you can email me. My email is in the description. Let's dig right in. Spirit guides, angels, divine ancestors, please shine the light on what I need to see for Cap. We're going to look at the oracle decks first, and then we'll look at the tarot, guys. All right. Spirit, please show me what I need to see. Now, I want to say this. When I pull from the oracles, this is your energy or your person's energy, okay? Just put it where it belongs. And all of the messages are not going to be specifically for you. If you need that, that's what a personal is for, guys. But just place the energy where it belongs, okay? Because there's so many of you out there. So there's a lot of different messages that I'm getting in my head. All right, so I left when I saw you with someone. One of you left. It could have been you, could have been them. But somebody exited the connection once they saw that the other person wasn't being faithful. So it could be that you were dealing with someone who was just non-committal. They didn't want to appreciate a loyal, loving, genuine relationship. They needed more. They were greedy and immature. And so either you left and turned your back on this connection, or they did. Tell me more, Spirit, about this. You speak to me through music. Okay, so this person, they could work in a setting where they hear music all day, like a club or a bar, or maybe they're a truck driver or a delivery person, or, you know, they work in a restaurant, something where they nonstop, they're hearing music, and the lyrics are hitting different now because of the situation. You know, this person, you and them could have had playlists that you shared. So they have on their phone music that you sent them, and vice versa. And when they listen, they have no choice but to think about you and reminisce, right? Also, I just heard that for you guys, you could also hear music, and the lyrics are definitely more intense now, because it could be that you're hearing songs that resonate with your exact situation, having to deal with this person. Okay, it could seem like the song is speaking to you, or your person is speaking to you right through the music. It feels like something that they would be saying to you through the lyrics. Okay. You could also, I see that for some of you, you're mirroring each other. So this energy that you have is the very same energy that your person has as well. I left you before you could leave me. Somebody dipped out of this connection, and I see that for some of you, they ghosted. So it could have been that they did or you did. But I'm heavily getting that this person left. They turned their back on the connection, or they just avoided contact and never gave closure. So this relationship was left open-ended for some of you. If you were wondering why they left, the answer is that this person was afraid that you would leave them first. So they wanted to be the one to make the first move. They got scared. And I feel like they got scared. Spirit is telling me that it was because you were getting too close to them. They have wounds where when someone gets too close to them, they start to feel uncomfortable or unsafe, because they've been hurt in relationships over and over. And so where they have opened up, totally opened up for other people in the past and gotten their heart broken and shattered, they didn't want this to be the same thing, because they saw themselves falling for you deeply. And they wanted to avoid that. They wanted to avoid that catastrophe. You understand? Because they have been devastated in love, is what I'm hearing. And so they got scared. They were afraid. Tell me more, Spirit. My life is not as together as it seems. So this person, you might not know this. There's things that this person could have been holding back from you, like money problems, you know, family issues. For some of you, they told you about the things that are going on in their life, but I feel like they held back some information as well. They didn't tell you the whole story. And so you may have thought that they were doing just fine when they could be damn near broke, you know. They could have child support draining their check. They could have, you know, court cases. They could, who knows? It could, the list can go on and on. But this person, I just heard that for some of them, they have the living situation that they have is not to their liking. They're living with somebody, they're living with family or a friend or something. And you may see it from the outside when you were dealing with them as, oh, they're doing fine, they're okay, but really they're not okay because they're not where they want to be. This person, I'm strongly getting that this is somebody who is in the process of trying to clean up their life and get their shit in order. And when you met them, they were in that process and they still are. They wanted to appear that they had everything together, so they definitely wore a mask, Cap. And when you were together, they wanted to appear to have everything tip-top condition. But the reality is they're not doing well, okay? They may be suffering mentally as well, you know, mental stress. They could have health issues, financial, like I said. So all of these things, they didn't tell you all of this. You didn't know. Bottom of the deck, we have, I'm so attracted to you. Even in this silence, if you were wondering, this person still loves you. And they still love everything about you. Your body, your personality, your mind, how you think, how you show up in life and in relationships and for the people that you love. Attraction goes deeper than just physical. And I feel like, yes, this person loves how you look, don't get me wrong, but it's the inside of you that they fell for first. Okay. And then like your body and your face and, you know, the way you dress, the way you wear your hair, all of that is just a plus. All of that is like the icing on the cake. Okay. So, but if you're wondering if they still have feelings for you, they do. They're still attracted to you. They still are passionate about you. They still have those thoughts about you, okay? And if you guys have done the damn thing, then yeah, this person definitely thinks about that as well. And if you haven't done that, they wonder how it would be if they ever can get the chance to do that at this point, since you guys are not together and not talking. Now, let's take a look, thank you, Spirit, at this other, I just got this Oracle deck, it's brand new. I got this like a week ago. Spirit guides, angels, divine ancestors, please shine the light on what I need to see for Cap. For Cap. Okay. So, again, this is either your energy or theirs. I want things to go back, look at this, to where they used to be. What did I just talk about? That this person still has feelings for you. They still want you. They still, the attraction is still there. The want to keep this thing going, to keep the flame lit is still there. You guys, if you look on the card, it looks like waves, you know, flowing. And when things were good with you, you guys did flow. You had a natural flow. You just got along. You got each other. You didn't have to explain yourself to this person. You know, there were some really good attributes that this person had that attracted you to them. And it made you guys click and fit together. And they want to go back to that, to the laughter, to the fun times, and to where you guys had at least an understanding and you could work together. It feels like now that you guys are flowing in opposite directions and they want to flow together like you guys used to. You understand? Tell me more, Spirit. I'm not ready for commitment, but I don't want you to stop committing to me. You know, I feel this was their past energy. When you were with them, this person clearly I'm getting that they involved a third party, and that's what created this whole no contact. And it's because, again, like we saw in the last deck over here, where they definitely left, they sabotaged is what they did, the connection. And by doing that, by sabotaging it, they went outside of the connection and dealt with other people or another person. And it was because they didn't want to commit, because that's scary for them. That is, it's dangerous. It was dangerous in their eyes because of the hurt that they've been through in the past with past connections. And so this is how they felt before. I feel like they have changed. Now they have had the time to think, and I feel that they know just what they had when they were dealing with you, and they want another shot. They want another shot if you will have them. But at that time when you guys were dealing with each other, they wanted you to stay committed to them. And I know that you were, Cap. You were committed, because as an earth sign, you are someone who's automatically loyal. You're in it for the long haul, and you're willing to put in the work that it takes. You're all about the grind, whether it's relationship, work, whatever it is. And this person, they took your loyalty for granted. They took your kindness for granted. They took your love for granted. And they weren't ready. But I feel like what they want you to know, their message is that they are ready now, if you would have them. But I can see that, thank you, Spirit, for showing me that this person had commitment issues in the past. That's what ruined this whole relationship. Tell me more, Spirit. Sometimes I need my space. Yeah, I feel that, you see on this card, there's all these spirals. This person has so much going on in their head. They could be an air sign. I'm an air sign, so I understand these little spirals as being like, confusion sometimes, and also just trying to sort things out, and always having thoughts running through my head. So I feel like they could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius that you were dealing with. They don't have to. They could have it somewhere in their chart, but they needed their space to think. And I feel they want you to know that when they exited this relationship, and again, they could have ghosted you and not given you any word on why, it's because they got overwhelmed. They got overworked, and they were drained, and they have communication issues, this person, and they could have easily just sat down and talked to you and told you, hey, listen, Cap, this is where I'm at. I'm overwhelmed. I got work to deal with. I got home life. I'm trying to get my shit in order. I love you, but right now, let's put it on a pause. But this person didn't. Instead, they just left. And they're saying that it was because they needed time and space to themselves to get their thoughts together. And so they want you to know that, okay? One more, Spirit. You pushed me away. This is your energy. You feel like this person pushed you away when they sabotaged the relationship. And sometimes it's not what a person does, it's what they don't do that can ruin the whole connection. And I feel in this case, that's what it was. This person, instead of communicating properly, if they would have came and talked to you, right, and let you know where they were in their head, in their headspace, in their own energy, then you would have at least understood that and backed up. And understandably so, you would have at least had an answer on why. But I feel a lot of you had to go off and heal from this connection without any explanation, any closure. You had to give yourself closure, and you felt neglected. You felt very rejected by this person. There's a card in the tarot called the Five of Pentacles, and that card literally represents being out in the cold, rejected, and feeling neglected by your partner. And this is exactly where I feel they had you. They had you feeling like everything else and everyone else was more important than you. And so you felt like you were on the outside looking in. Bottom of the deck, we have Opening up to you was hard. I'm working on myself. And what did I tell you? This person has issues with opening up. I said it earlier when we looked at the other deck. This person that you were dealing with has not only communication blockages, but they have heart chakra blockages where they have opened up with other people and gotten stabbed in the back. And because that happened, right, they met you, someone who they could be safe with, because you were genuine with them and willing to put in the work, but yet they sabotage this by dealing with other people. And for some of you, they didn't even deal with another person. The third party is not always another person. Like I said, it could be that they went and they just put their focus on something else. And that something else could be work. It could be, trying to get more hours so they can make more money. It could be that they were dealing with family issues, their health, whatever it was that they put ahead of you. That's a third party. And it could also be a person. So you would know. But opening up to you and letting you know where they were before they exited this connection and disappeared or turned their back on this, that would have been too hard for them. That was too difficult for them. They didn't know how to do it because they've never done it. And this is all new to them, dealing with someone as healthy and toxic free as you. And I feel that you came in and you gave this person, an opportunity to grow with someone who was good for them. But because they've always dealt with toxic individuals, they're used to that toxicity. And they're used to not only dealing with toxic people, but don't think that they don't have toxicity. Since they have dealt with that kind of energy, you got to be toxic too, if you're dealing with toxic people. That energy does trickle down to you. So, of course, they didn't come in and handle this healthy. They handled it in a toxic way. And I feel like you guys are looking at them like they are toxic and maybe not the best for you, You still have feelings for this person. I know that. I can feel that. But this person, the way that they moved and the way that they handled this connection, it was just, you didn't expect it. And I just heard that you expected more from them. They disappointed you is what they did. And I understand that. I do. So let's look at the tarot, guys, and get a couple cards before I end it. Okay. Let's see what we have. Spirit, please show me for Cap and their person. What was the obstacle here for Cap and this individual? The Fool reversed. The Fool reversed. Now, I'll show you in the upright. This is the Fool. The Fool energy is someone who's very immature, okay? I don't care how old they are. They don't look before they leap. You were dealing with someone who didn't think before they acted. And so they made some foolish mistakes because they weren't strategic enough and emotionally articulate enough to know that if they did something that wasn't right to you, something hurtful, what the consequences would be or could be if you found out about it. And I just feel like this person, even if they, like I said, if they weren't dealing with someone else, the way that they handled the relationship, the way that they held back and didn't communicate, that's foolish in itself. And so them not taking the proper steps, them not talking to you, them not communicating with you, okay? That is really what ended this. That was part of the obstacle. The fact of them not having the respect enough to come to you and explain what was going on. What did they do instead? I feel like for a lot of you, they didn't even say a word to you, period. They just disappeared. Okay? Now, tell me more about this Fool reverse, Spirit. The Hierophant. This is the Hierophant. So it just shows this person can be very rigid when it comes to their beliefs and relationships. They could be very traditional in how they show up in connections. For example, they could be the type that feel like The women are supposed to be home, cook and clean, take care of the babies. And the men are supposed to go to work and, very rigid in their thinking and old fashioned, not flexible at all. And that was part of the obstacle. The fact that they were in this Hierophant energy where what they say goes. So they were very controlling. And I know that. And the reason why they left and disconnected from you without talking to you is because they wanted to control the narrative of how this went. Instead of thinking about how it would affect you, they wanted to be the one to manifest this and create what they wanted it to be. Okay? So, very controlling. And it comes from a place of low self-esteem. It also comes from low self-worth. And again, stemming from their childhood. I think we talked about that. We touched on that, where this person could have grown up with a narcissistic parent in the household. And it creates a need for a person to feel like they're superior in the relationship instead of coming in on equal ground. This person could have, in the relationship, not heard. They didn't hear you out. They didn't hear what you had to say. How you felt didn't mean anything. What you thought didn't mean anything. The words that were coming out of your mouth, you could have felt like it just went right over their head, because it was all about what they wanted and what they had to say. And that's what mattered to them. Very stubborn energy as well. They could be a Taurus. They don't have to be. They could have Taurus somewhere in their chart, but yeah. What's the advice? Let's close out with some advice for Cat. What's some advice when it comes to this connection? King of Pentacles. This came reversed, guys. Okay. And Pentacles represent your energy, which is Earth. Okay. But you came in and you gave to this person so much. And being this came reversed is just blatant to me that Spirit is saying it's not for you to reach out to this person. Even if you feel the need to, even if it crosses your mind to, let them come to you. If you want to talk to them, talk to them. And by no means should you do anything more than what you've already done, because you have done so much already. You gave and you gave to this person. And you really nurtured the relationship. You were the one that was holding this whole thing together. And, it's not your fault that they took it for granted because of their past and wounds, that they have. But Spirit is advising you not to make any move whatsoever and to stay still, just like you have been doing. Tell me more about this King of Pentacles. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles. So we got 10 of Pentacles here. We got the King of Pentacles over here. He's holding 1 Pentacle. So 10 and 1, that's 11. 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 of Pentacles. So Spirit is saying, they want you to juggle the thought of what it would look like to be back in connection with this person. How would it benefit you? I just heard weigh the pros and the cons when it comes to this person before you decide. If they reach out to you and you just decide, okay, let's do it. Let's jump back in. Let's do it. I missed you. Let's just forget about what happened. No, they want you to weigh. They want you to look at what you would be gaining and what you could be losing if you were to be back in contact with this person. And that will be the answer that you need. Okay? Because I see what you want. You want the 10 of Pentacles. You want a partner that's going to be in there for the long term. You're not in this for a one-night stand. You're not in it for games. You're not in it for sex or to take anybody's money. You're in it. The 10 of Pentacles is all about a legacy. You want to be in a partnership where you can grow your money together. You'll have something to leave for your children. You want land. You want prosperity, abundance, happiness. You want it all. And Spirit really wants you to consider, will you be able to have this? Is it realistic with this person? And look at everything that happened when you were together before. Okay? And that will be your answer. I love you guys. I hope that this helped you in some way. If it did, Thank you for liking. Thank you for leaving a comment. I appreciate y'all always. And I'm